A first five wager, an over-under play, and a pitcher prop. It might sound like the setup to the worst joke of all time, but it's actually what you're going to be getting here free in the best bets on First Pitch, a Tuesday edition. And yesterday, 2-1 for us here on the best bets with some nice plus money. We'll look to get you some winners again here. And joining me, your host, Dan Alexander. I got Steve Merril, Marco D'Angelo, and Eric Pauly. And Steve, I'll start with you because it was supposed to be Brian Power on the dais today, but we were like, no, Steve gave us so many winners yesterday. We just got to bring him back today. You can grab his 7-day all access special, just $59. So I love it, Steve, especially when we're giving them away for free. It makes them want to go on over to WagerTalk even more. Let's talk a little Angels, Phillies, Steve. And with how you're seeing it, I won't even set it up. How are we betting this game, brother?
Yeah, seen baseball well. 3-0 sweep Sunday and Monday at WagerTalk. We hit the free play for the show yesterday. I'm going to have another free play at the end of this show. But Dan, since you were nice enough to have me on again today on Tuesday, I had to talk about your Philadelphia Phillies against, I guess, your Los Angeles Angels now that you're out there as well. Are you conflicted in this game? It's a coast-to-coast one.
It's an easy one for me. I'm going with the guys
Exactly.
in the pinstripes still, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it's probably pretty easy as well. I would defer to not playing the Angels right now. That's actually the whole premise in this big game breakdown. A couple weeks ago, as you know, Dan, I went against the Mets several shows in a row, different teams. So the Royals, the red-hot Kansas City Royals beat them even. And then, of course, the red-hot Baltimore Orioles. It was the Royals-Orioles doubleheader, and the Mets failed. And what I mentioned there was that the Mets came into the season with the biggest payroll in baseball. They were huge sellers at the trade deadline. And not many teams quit or toss the towel in the season, but the ones that normally do are teams that had championship caliber hopes and then fall short. Well, let's fast forward like a month later now. Mets, by the way, have started to play decent. I thought that would happen. And maybe the Angels will start to play decent as well. But I'd be very careful with the Anaheim Angels going forward here because they fit the mold now of a team that had big aspirations. They were not necessarily sellers at the deadline because obviously they held on to Ohtani. And now maybe they're thinking they should have offloaded him before he becomes a free agent because the Angels, 6 games below 500. They've lost 7 of their last 10. But more importantly, they're now 12.5 back of the red-hot Seattle Mariners. They're in their last night on a 21-5 run. Have taken the division lead by a game over the Rangers and Astros. But most importantly, the Angels now 11.5 games back of the wild card. Their season is over. They know it. And I'd be very careful playing them anytime here over the next couple of weeks. And this is a textbook example, once again, like the Mets about a month ago, of a team that has tossed the towel in the season, in my opinion, and has very little to play for. Could make an argument. Maybe we saw the buy sign last night when they had 11 hits in that game against Philly, but they still lost 6-4 as a small dog. And I think that's actually a bad sign. And this is a Philadelphia team on the other side that is heating up just like they did last year when they won the National League pennant. They started slow, made a run as the third division team in the East, made the wild card, and made it all the way to the World Series. And it looks like they're starting to heat up once again, winning 6 of their last 7, including 4 in a row. And what I like, as you know, is offensive current momentum. This team has now scored 6 runs or more in 4 of their last 5 games, double-digit hits as well in 4 of those last 5. If you're going to play it, you lay it. It's only one way to 9. That's the Phillies, a hot team against an Angels team that has nothing to play for.
So 6-1 throughout the 9-game homestand thus far. Steve saying they'll make it 7-1 tonight. Music to my ears. We would have brought you back even if you weren't going with my Phils there, Steve. But I love the breakdown to lead off the show. And in the live chat, Wisconsin guy has got the right idea. He's saying, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss anything here at WagerTalk TV. I echo those sentiments. Smart guy there, Wisconsin guy. Hop below and let us know what your best bet is tonight. We want to hear it there in the chat. Co-founder of WagerTalk is with us as well, Marco D'Angelo. He's got a 4% best bet all access pass up right now over at his page. But right now, live on WagerTalk TV, he's got a breakdown in this Houston and Boston game. And Marco, it's hard to believe that we might be highlighting a potential pitcher duel after the Astros-Red Sox game goes 13-5 last night, the win for the Stros. But 2 of the brightest young pitchers are going to be on the mound tonight. How are you going to be betting this one?
Yeah, it might seem even harder to fathom a pitcher's duel if you look at what happened in the last time that JP France was on the mound. True. It happened to be against these very same Boston Red Sox. The final score of that game was 17-1 in Houston. And if you remember, Houston had that weekend series where they didn't play well. Texas didn't play well over the same time, and all of a sudden, the surging Seattle Mariners went by both of them for the division lead. Now, Houston, 3 wins in a row, but more importantly, France is making his first start since that debacle of an outing. And honestly, he was their most consistent pitcher this season. He had been quite a surprise. Prior to that start, he had 12 straight starts where he allowed 3 runs or less. And in 11 of those 12 starts, he went 6 innings and beyond. So he was going deep in there. So it was a very uncharacteristic outing for him. And he kind of got left out hung to dry because the Astros had several high-scoring games in a row, and the bullpen was getting a lot of work. And they left him as a sacrificial lamb, so to speak, gave up 10 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Well, that was his last start. He doesn't have to wait long for revenge. I would have expected him to have a good outing off of that bad outing, whoever he was pitching against. But the fact that he gets to do it against the team that embarrassed him, he's going to be focused and ready for this one. Also have some trends here that I'm looking at in this game where the under, Boston, they're 25-12 to the under in home games following a loss by 4 runs or more over the last 2 seasons. Now, in those 37 games, Boston has averaged just 4.4 runs per game. I also have a stat on Houston where they're 24-12 on the road following a win by 4 runs or more. And over those 36 games, the opposition is only averaging 3.3 runs. Last one, Houston, 10-2 to the under on the road after 2 or more consecutive overs. And they've been holding the opposition to 3.8 runs. Why do I keep bringing up the opposition in this? Well, because I'm zeroing in on Boston here, and I'm going to look at a team total. I expect France to have a good outing. I expect them to hold Boston at bay, and Boston has shown in these situations they don't score a lot of runs. And because of the high-scoring game last night, because of the last time France was on the mound, we've got a total that I feel is too high, and even higher is the team total because, as we've talked about this before, they have to split the total some way, and the team that's the favorite's going to be the higher end of that. And Boston is looking at a team total of 5.5. I found that on Bet Online this morning. It's still available. I'm taking Boston under team total 5.5 runs in this one. Look for Houston to get some revenge. More importantly, JP France on the mound for the Astros gets his pound of revenge tonight.
Yeah, a little revenge factor, and also as Marco kind of pointed out there with Boston, hitting that team total over with some regularity in recent form, and then you look at yesterday as well. Number at 5.5 is a little bit head scratching when you think of how this matchup may just shake out. So a little big game breakdown for you with a free play as well. Marco, man of the people. All right, last big game breakdown before we swing it around, get some best bets for you. Eric Pauly of thegoldsheet.com is joining us. And as we tell you all the time, make sure you like and subscribe. Eric and I have an NFL preview going with some of the wildest parlays you'll see. We don't suggest betting parlays, but we do suggest checking out Gold Sheet TV. It's a fun one today. Eric, let's get into this Dodgers and Arizona game. It's the nightcap, so I always love a little potential get back. Looks like I'm looking at Merril Kelly here on the WagerTalk live odds screen is going to be on the mound for the D-backs. Looks like it's sitting at 5.5 strikeouts for him. You think that's going to be a tough sell to get over that, or how are you going to be betting it?
Yeah, so looking at Merril Kelly, you'd be very intrigued probably by his over based on his recent performance. He started off the season great, went to the IL for a little bit, and then now is back, and he has a couple of big K games in the recent past. He had 12 against Cincinnati's last time out, 11 at Colorado, which is obviously more difficult to do in the altitude, and then 9 at Minnesota. But what do all three of those teams have in common, at least over the last month or so, or even for the entirety of the season? Those are 3 of the highest strikeout rates teams in the entire MLB. And in the month of August against right-handed pitching, those are literally the 3 highest strikeout rate teams. So when you factor in that Kelly's massive success in the K department has come against strikeout heavy teams, and now you face him against the LA Dodgers, this is now the fourth time already this season that Kelly will be facing Los Angeles. And this is a team that throughout his career in LA has hit him pretty hard. And in all three of those starts, he had 4 strikeouts twice and 2 strikeouts one time. So he has not even really sniffed 6 strikeouts in this season series against Los Angeles. And obviously we know Los Angeles knows them well, but if you just look at what Los Angeles does well, that's making contact with the ball outside of the zone. So Merril Kelly gets most of his strikeouts on chases. He also is a good whiff pitcher, but he focuses more on outside the zone swings and misses. But Los Angeles right now just a 20% K rate against righties in the month of August, 10th in outside the zone contact percentage, while being just 23rd in outside the zone swing rate, meaning they're not chasing, but when they do chase, they're making making contact. And when you look over for the last week and you just recent form, Los Angeles's K rate drops to 18.6%, and they're only swinging outside the zone at 26% in the league out of the 30 teams in the league. So again, contact heavy team, familiar team, doesn't really chase, and when they do chase, make contact. So I anticipate Kelly getting tormented by these Dodgers once again and going under his 5.5 strikeouts tonight in LA.
Yeah, Kelly and Kershaw, hop below in the comments and let us know what you think's happening in that tilt. Our man Eric Pauly of thegoldsheet.com going under the 5.5 Ks. Let us know if you agree or disagree. We love to hear from you. Let's swing it right on back to the man fresh off some free play winners, and he has been seeing MLB well. You can use promo code Steve7 at his page to save big on some 7-day all access. But Steve, I mean, it was a rocking chair winner you gave the folks yesterday. So it is as simple as, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What are we betting today? Best bet.
Going to look at a free play, a late night free play here for Tuesday night, August the 29th. And the free play hit last night. We also had a perfect 3-0 sweep on best bets both Sunday and Monday in baseball. So I know football's around the corner, but not a bad time to be playing baseball on a daily basis to continue to build that bankroll into the football season. By the way, I do have a 7-day all sports special. Speaking of football and baseball, you're going to get 5 days straight of college football starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, plus baseball every day. Get the next 7 days and nights of all sports for just $59. It's normally $99, but you get an instant $40 discount with promo code Steve7, the number 7, Steve7 at WagerTalk.com. Last night, we gave you the under between the Giants and Reds as an easy free winner, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to come right back with the same concept here. I'm a big believer in offensive momentum, both good and bad. As I said yesterday, the Giants' 8-run win against the 8-5, putting up 8 runs on Sunday night win against the Braves was misleading in my opinion, as they'd only put up 8 hits in that game. Well, they only put up 8 hits again for the 3rd straight game. And just like Saturday where they only had 3 runs, they only had 4 runs last night. But they did win 4-1 because the Reds' offense is even colder right now. Cincinnati has scored 2 runs or less now in 3 of their past 5 games, and they've put up 6 hits or less in 3 of those 5. So while the Giants are very mediocre offensively, the Reds are just ice cold, and we get another under tonight. So take a look at the Giants and Reds under 8. That's a late game at 9:45 Eastern. I've got 2 games that are even stronger tonight, and it's a 2-for-1 Tuesday special. Get both best bets tonight for just $29, or the best deal of all, get the next 7 days and nights of football and baseball for just $30 more. That $59 7-day special with promo code Steve7, WagerTalk.com.
That's Steve Merril, WT.Buzz SM will get you right to the page. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Great way to say thanks to the free play winners and the handicap and info you're getting here on a daily basis across all of our great programming. Marco D'Angelo also has a best bet, and talk about not just recent form. How about over 20 months? You could be riding with Marco's 4% and 5% plays across all sports and make over $6,700. Yeah, sign me up yesterday for that, Marco. But best bet time here. You got a first 5 wager in this White Sox and Baltimore game after the easy cruise to a win for the O's last night, 9-0. Now we have Dean Kremer on the mound. I think he and the O's might get an early hot start in this one. What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, Dan, that's the way I'm looking at this one. I'm going to go first 5 innings, and I'm going to lay the half a run first 5 to bring that price down on Baltimore. And what can you say about the O's? They've won 8 of their last 10. They've been the most consistent team from start to finish all year. And yet they somehow still fly a little bit under the radar because it's a team that's not loaded with superstars or big name players. But I like what they've got going tonight. Dean Kramer has been one of their best pitchers all year. When he starts at home, Baltimore's 12-3. Also, you look at his last 8 starts, 7 of his last 8 starts, he's allowed 3 runs or less. That's not the same case for the White Sox starter, Jesse Schultens, who has been lit up, hit hard in his last 3. He's gone a total of 15 innings over those last 3 starts, and he's gotten hit for 13 runs in those 15 innings. More alarming has been his strikeout to walk ratio. You know, I like to look at this a lot, and his strikeout to walk ratio was 11 Ks to 8 walks. You're not getting a high number of strikeouts, and you're putting too many free passes. When you put people on base every inning, as he has been doing, bad things happen, especially against a team that's been scoring runs like Baltimore has. And this season, Baltimore, when they have been a favorite of 150 or more, they're 26-6 in those games. But more importantly, they're winning those games by an average margin of 2.3 runs per game. And the White Sox, against right-handers, they really struggle. We know it's been a bad season for the White Sox. They're just 36-61 facing right-handers, and they're averaging just 3.9 runs per game. I'll go ahead, take my chances, eliminate the bullpens in this one. We're going to go first 5, lay the half a run with the O's, and you'll get that at minus $1.35, brings that price way down on Baltimore, laying that half a run first 5.
A little first 5 wager from Marco D'Angelo, and he's got a 4% best bet locked and loaded right now over at his page. Check him out, wt.buzz/MD. And last but not least, we have our man Eric Pauly with a best bet for you, goldsheet.com or wt.buzz/GS. You can get a play for just $2. So Eric, tell the folks about that, and then also break down and let us know, because Marco was talking about his thoughts in this Houston and Boston game about France on the mound. You have some thoughts about Bello as well. Mike's yours, brother.
Yeah, so Gold Sheet, $2 Tuesday capper. We have a NCAA F play for just $2, and we were the #1 group on WagerTalk over the last 2 years in college football, so definitely something to take into consideration. And obviously NFL coming up week 1 soon. We'll have some NFL plays there as well shortly, but sticking to the bases, what we need to focus on now. And going back to that game, literally the last time these two teams faced each other, both these pitchers' last 2 starts were against one another in Houston. I was on the Astros in that game, and if you're not sure how that game broke down, Boston basically absolutely destroyed JP France and the Red Sox. And while I still am inclined to bet on Houston, seeing some of the things I saw last game, like, for example, JP France does better against left-handed batters. Boston has a left-handed heavy lineup, but that didn't work out well last time. And Brian Bayo is not as good against left-handed hitters. And, of course, the Houston Astros have Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez, 2 of the top 3 left-handed batters in the entire MLB, if arguably for making that case. But one thing that's really done well for me this season has been focusing on a pitcher the second time facing a team and fading him, especially if that first time was within the last 1 to 2 weeks, or say 1 to 3 starts. And that's exactly what we get here. So in last game, when Bayo pitched really well, he threw 103 pitches over 7 innings, still only had 4 strikeouts against his Houston lineup. We're just simply talking about one of the most contact-heavy and least lowest strikeout rate lineups in baseball against a pitcher who just is not a strikeout pitcher by any means whatsoever. So since August 1st, Houston 29th in strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. Over the last 2 weeks, they're dead last, and over the last week, they're 29th. Bayo relies on a lot more chases than whiffs, and Houston is second in contact rate over the last week and second in outside of the zone contact rate, despite being 10th in outside of the zone swing percentage. There's a lot of similarities between how Bayo and Merril Kelly gets Ks, like I mentioned earlier, and also, again, that familiarity factor is a crucial decision. It's been profitable fading those kind of pitchers. Their second time seeing a team. That's just exactly what we're going to do again. I know that 5 is a relatively low number for a pitcher to get strikeout-wise, but I do expect Houston's offense to come out hotter in this game. I don't anticipate Bayo making it 7 innings in this game. And at plus money, slight plus money, tons of value on Bayo going under his strikeout total tonight at home against the red hot, as we saw last night, Houston Astros.
Our man Eric Pauly and the goldsheet.com, all about the pitcher unders today. Not a fan of the pitching, our man EP. Hey, if you appreciate the show, we would love you to throw a like and hit that subscribe button. And also tell folks about us. They want to get actionable info across the board. Tell folks tune in around the clock here at WagerTalk TV, because football season right around the corner. These 3 guys are 3 of the best in that as well. Big thanks to Steve Merril, Marco D'Angelo, and Eric Pauly. Check them out. Hit that subscribe button, and you have more reason than ever to hit that little bell, because we're giving you all the tools you need to bet all the sports you love. It's only a click away right here at WagerTalk TV.